Hello, I'm Jay Carpenter of the PhoneWord Workshops, and tonight we are doing our session 2 for Bounty Team 1 for the Bounty Project, and we'll be going from 8 p.m. Arizona time to 9 p.m. Arizona time. We're still waiting for Corey Kruger to join us. Austin Wright is with us, and let me give Corey a call. Bear with me. Austin, while I'm calling Corey, you can take a look at phoneword.us is already kind of up and running. It's kind of an example. Corey, it's Jay. Austin and I are on the Hangout. I'm going to email you the link, and so hop on whenever you can. Bye, Corey. Alrighty. Okay, I just sent him the link. Well, Austin, how is Wednesday night looking for you, say from 9 to 10 tomorrow night?
That's okay.
I think that works for Corey. I think it would be better to do an hour tomorrow night and then wrap it up on Thursday versus trying to do 2 hours in one night.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. While we're waiting, I'm going to show the PHONEWORD. I don't want to show that. Um, okay, can you see that, Austin?
Yeah.
So this is PHONEWORD.us, and this is actually a dialer that is provided by Phono. However, and this will actually make a call to my cell phone. But I think we might want to just do something from scratch, because this could be a starting point, but it's got a lot of code associated with it already. And I did this site using Twitter Bootstrap. So.
Hello?
Yeah.
Testing.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep, sure can. Hey,
Sorry,
Corey.
I'm late.
No problem. Okay, anything you guys want to say or go over?
Sure. Oops. Were you sharing your desktop?
I was showing I was showing Austin PhoneWord.us. I've got a Twitter Bootstrap site set up there, and it's got an embedded dialer in it from Phono, and it will actually make a call, but I'm not so sure we want to go with that.
Yeah.
So why don't we just say anything there is to say at this point, and then we can maybe take a look at that and determine where we want to go from here. So you guys have any questions, comments, etc.?
Not a lot, but I guess we can just start out with the visual elements. But yeah, since it won't really have a backend, yeah. Anyways, where's the dialer used? Is it used like Twilio?
Let me pull it up. Let me pull it. Austin, do you have anything to say before we get into it?
No. When I'm looking at it, they have their own hosted backend, which they use, which just appears to support everything. I guess it's similar to Twilio. I don't know. I haven't played with it before.
You've played with it before?
I haven't.
Oh. Yeah, it's called Phono. But before we get into all that, Corey, Austin can do tomorrow night from 9 to 10.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
7. I could probably make it. I might be a little bit late. I have something at 7. I'm not sure how long it'll go, but yeah, I could probably do part of that.
Okay. And I'm okay pushing it back. I don't know what Austin's schedule's like, but I'm okay pushing it back a little bit if we need to, like 9:30 to 10:30. Um,
Okay.
but I'm open then, and apparently Austin's open. So I think I would prefer to do 1 hour chunks instead of trying to do 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So we can do it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then we'll be done. And I think that'll actually work out better than trying to do something on Saturday.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Um, so let me screen share here. So this is something that's already set up on behind PhoneWord.us. And so I've got this hosted. It's using this dialer, which is Phono, which is basically a jQuery plugin. And this will actually make a call, and it's actually, pretty powerful. Do all kinds of stuff with it in terms of real live calls and things like that. The difference is it might take some work to modify this to do, when you enter a set of digits, it might take some work to have this do a lookup instead of immediately doing a phone call. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you just want to like intercept the number and then parse it and look for other existing accounts that are associated with the phone number, sort of.
Right. Right. And we're going to dummy that up, before we put a MongoDB database on the back end. So we'll pick like maybe 2 or 3 numbers and then maybe have 3 things associated with it, like a Facebook, a Twitter, and a website, and then, or maybe 4 things, maybe I don't know, another phone number or something, if that makes sense, just to get started.
Yeah.
But this is already operating, and it's hosted, and conceivably we could tear all this down. This is Twitter Bootstrap that's behind this. So, you have any thoughts, Corey, Austin?
Is the dialer like a library that you import, or is it just something someone put together with jQuery?
I don't know. Austin, are you looking at it right now?
Okay.
Are you looking at I think if you go to phono.com, you can see what's behind it. It's like a jQuery library.
It's just a simple.
Okay. What's that URL again?
I'll put it in the
chat.
In the chat. See it?
Okay. Yeah, got it.
I'll bring it up as well.
Okay.
So I've got an API key and all that stuff, and it does have some examples. And this is WebRTC, by the way.
So it looks like Phono is, they probably just have their own backend. When you load this library, this Phono library, you can just call their servers basically, and they'll redirect your call. Visually, I think it looks like you can just make it look like whatever you want. It's just their API basically that you call through this library. I think.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay. Looks like it's just for phones, like actually calling a phone number.
Pretty much, it'll operate with phone numbers, so it'll work on the PSTN, it'll work on SIP, and WebRTC. My understanding, I haven't played with it in a while. So I don't know. Maybe we want to mess around with this thing.
That depends on whether you want to use their API. You'd have to connect to their website, their server. They've got their own hosted system. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything about Phono, but yeah.
You know jQuery.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know jQuery though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah, JavaScript library.
It's.
Go
ahead.
Well, jQuery is just a library. It's a wrapper for DOM elements, so it's a JavaScript library. It's not a yeah, it's basically a visual thing. It's just for front end, just for making stuff in the browser. Looks like they have just put together this jQuery library to make that a little bit easier. They've just put together their own functions like phono.dial, and then you put in a number, and then they've got their own elements like loading bars and stuff, and ringing events and that sort of thing. So this library is purely for the front end, just what it looks like on the page. But it's connecting to their server. When you actually hit dial, it's actually talking to them specifically, and I'm assuming you have to pay for whatever their service is. I'm not sure.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I've got an account set up already, and it's working. So, Corey, if you think you could manipulate their code, because Phono is open source, now I'm sure there's parts of their backend that are not open source, but that's okay. But if you think you could work with their code to, modify it, change, and we really don't have to change the look. What's more important is being able to enter a number and then do a call to bring up like a Facebook account, Twitter account.
Yeah. Visually, I don't really see a reason to use this library, just because it looks like when you actually connect to their servers, when you get like a waiting or a dialing event, and it's waiting for that callback, it's depending on their whatever their servers are returning. So I don't know what that information is. So it might be helpful visually, but right now I don't really see a reason to go there.
Okay, cool.
It might be more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah. Well, at least you guys know that it's there, and I don't know how far along we'll get, but we might be able to incorporate the telephony part of it. Later on. Okay. Well, I'm going to just turn it over to you guys and rock and roll.
Okay. Cool. I'm right now I'm scaffolding an application just so I can view it in the browser. I might have something to show visually in a couple seconds. Won't be anything there. It'll just be sort of from my network.
Austin, do you know of any open source uh, elements that might have a dialer? Do you mind doing a search for that?
It's um,
Or do you have any ideas? I'm just asking if there's anything that would accelerate the process by using something that's already out there. And maybe there's not, maybe it's better to just start from scratch.
yeah, I'm not familiar with anything. I mean, I'm familiar with a few different user interfaces out there, but I mean, they're all ridiculously simple. They're just HTML inputs and whatever. So you can throw that together pretty quickly.
Okay. So in other words, you're saying it's probably not worth the time to mess around with something that's already out there.
Yeah, well, if we're just wanting to basically have something visual, something you can see, yeah, it might take more time than is necessary to kind of get to know or integrate something that exists already. But 1 second, I'll turn my using Yeoman to scaffold this. By the way, it's a pretty nifty tool. But,
Have you used Gulp or Gentry?
Yeoman uses Gulp. I don't really use that regularly, just because most of the stuff I build, I don't really need the. It's kind of like everything in the kitchen sink, but yeah, Gulp's included. Grunt, Karma. I use Karma for testing, which is super easy to use. By the way, it's a really great tool.
Cool.
And yeah.
Austin, if we get far enough along to add MongoDB, what would you suggest for the hosting of that?
Hosting a database?
Yeah, hosting MongoDB. You provisioned it in AWS, right? Or no?
Yeah, it's possible.
Or do you use Modulus or Heroku?
They have a dedicated setup to manage that all for you, so that's a little bit less labor intensive. And if you want to do like MongoDB in AWS, MongoDB is a huge thing on how you can scale it up and replicate it, and make this big, really mean database, which I'm not sure is suitable right now.
Well, just for the next step, what would you recommend for hosting the mean stack?
I don't know. Let's.
It's no big deal. We can go with it. We can address that later on, step by step. Corey, I hate to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
while you're doing that, is there anything that Austin and I could be doing?
Sure. Uh, right now, I'm looking for a library that might visually put together the dialer for me, rather than doing it by hand. I thought Phono might have done that, but it doesn't look like they actually do that. I didn't think they did, but I was looking through their documentation. Actually, wait a second. No, never mind. Yeah. Well, let me share my desktop real quick. Screen share. Oh, wow. I have a lot of things open. Will that work? Can you see anything?
Not yet.
You see some of my screen? Does it look weird?
Now we can see it.
Okay. Is half of it cut off? It looks...
Uh,
can you see the whole browser?
it looks like you got a Hello World set up already.
Yeah. Is that like cut off halfway?
It's kind of like cut off halfway. It's like
Okay.
you
Check
got
it.
two screens showing.
Yeah, let me... I'm on a split screen. I need to tell it to do one. Let's do that. Okay. That's probably better. You see that?
Yep, that looks
Okay.
good.
Yeah. This is just this is an Angular app. I'm using Angular. But yeah, basically I would just put a dialer in like under here or something and put buttons, uh, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Call button, hang up, all that basically. That's kind of what you're thinking.
Yep, that's
Okay.
what I'm thinking. So, yeah, that's a great start.
Doesn't do my active screen. Might just have to do a. I'll just put together a table. Let's see.
Hmm.
I'm going to step away for just a minute while you're doing that, Corey.
Okay. Hate putting together tables. So all redundant. That should work, right? 0. And I'm copying what's on my my cell phone. Let's
Cool.
do smiley face or call. I don't have an icon. And chaos. Yeah, almost.
Cool.
Oh, I thought that was going to work. I'm using Sublime. It's my favorite text editor. Lets you modify multiple rows at the same time.
Mhm. Are you using Sublime 2 or 3?
2, I think. Yeah. I didn't know there was a 3 out yet.
Yeah, I hear really good things about it.
It is basically, it's not an IDE. It's basically a glorified text editor, but that's enough for me. Most of the bigger IDEs like Eclipse and whatever else are just way too big and clunky for this kind of thing, basically. You see those buttons?
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool.
Smiley face.
Yep, very nice.
I don't have an icon for a phone, but
Yeah, that's perfect.
uh,
Very, very cool. So now can you wire it up so that if you hit a digit, it'll show where the hello world is at?
yeah, that's what I'll add an Angular controller so we can put that in there. I want this to be centered. Not sure if it's going to do it. Oops. I'm not a CSS guy. I'm using Bootstrap.
You are using Bootstrap now?
Yeah, no, this is Yeoman. I'm using Yeoman. So Yeoman just downloads Bootstrap for me. It saves some time. These are just whatever the defaults are. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, CSS isn't really my cup of tea, but
That's okay.
anyways, let me put together that controller.
You're not alone.
You see my console?
Yeah.
You can. It actually switched.
Well, wait, are you talking about the your developer tools underneath?
Oh no. Something. I'm on 2 screens right now.
No, we don't.
Okay.
We don't see your console.
Okay. It's on the other screen. Let's do. Okay. Actually, I don't need to do that. I already got one. Right here. And okay. Let's do. I'm might be a built-in Angular filter for phone numbers, but I'm not sure.
Would that match the number to the letters?
It would basically take the number and splice in some dashes between the area code and whatnot. Anyways,
That's cool.
I might have to download it. Let's do
Do you have any suggestions at this point, Austin?
You're looking to format the number?
What?
Yeah.
You're looking to, yeah.
That's okay. Corey's looking at an Angular function or library that'll format the number.
This is a really dirty way of doing it, but it'll show up quickly.
Dirty's good at this point. Fast and dirty.
Okay. And everything exploded. And,
Perfect.
yeah.
Take your time, no rush.
Yeah.
Just what you produced is a good start for sure.
Yeah. This is a slightly cleaner way of doing it. Only slightly. I think it was a type error. I thought I was putting in strings, and I was actually I was trying to add a number to a string or something. I don't know.
No problem. Perfect. Take your time. This is good.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't think it got added to. Oops. Oh. Mhm. That's interesting.
What's that?
It's just not doing what I thought it was doing. Let's try. So,
Hmm.
let's try something different. Oh. I think I know what's happening. It's kind of funny. Let's see if it's changed anything. Nope.
Yeah, I see it's recording the digits. Yeah.
Yeah, it is keeping it. It's not updating the scope for some reason.
It's getting there.
Let me do that. Here's a dirty way of doing it. The cheatsy way of doing it.
That'll work.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Way to go. Very cool. I'm not too concerned about, putting the dashes in at this point.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Perfect. Well, basically, this is all I had hoped that we would accomplish for the whole week. I mean, it can be prettied up and all that, but you just achieved the minimal functionality that I was hoping for. So very cool. All right, so we've got about 11 minutes left.
Okay.
Shall we pause and just talk about where we're at, how much time's left, and where we can go with this?
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts, Austin?
I'm setting up a modulus instance right now.
Awesome.
Just to do a static web page and connect to a database.
Very cool. All right, so let me say a couple things, and you guys can give me some feedback here. I think I had mentioned that maybe just if we got this far, that we could then input a phrase. But I'm thinking what might be more impressive is instead of inputting a phrase, we use the database that you're building, Austin, and start to put in some elements that are returned when you hit, the enter or the C that Corey's got up there. So in other words, if we put in my phone number, let's say, and you can take this down, Corey, 602-228-4486.
Yeah, just a number in there somehow.
Yeah, just 228-4486. Yeah, some number. That's it. Let's assume it's that number.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Call.
that's perfect. And you hit call, but instead of making a call,
Mm-hmm.
let's say it does a lookup and it returns like my Twitter account, my Facebook link, a website, a phone number, an email address.
Yeah.
I think that would be more impressive at this point if we focused on that tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's doable, Austin?
Yeah.
Okay. That would actually better illustrate, I think, the real power of this and be consistent with the presentation that I showed you where we're talking address chaos to address harmony.
Mm-hmm.
So would you guys be okay with that if we went in that direction instead of like trying to turn the numbers into phrases?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a dummy lookup, basically.
Yeah, dummy lookup. But actually, if Austin's already putting together he's already provisioning Mongo on Modulus,
Mm-hmm.
we probably could do something a little more flexible than just a dummy.
Mm-hmm.
But even a dummy will work. So,
Okay.
hard coding some stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what would be most impressive at this point would be to enter something that's 10 digits or 11 digits long, and it returns like a YouTube link, Facebook, Twitter, website, etc. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good. You guys agree?
Yeah, definitely. It would just show those accounts on the side, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
like
what's that Gravatar? Kind of like that.
Gravatar.
Yeah, doesn't it like tell you what account it's associated with? Gravatar is like a universal avatar for
It's like
user
an email
accounts.
address.
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, it's basically just like your picture on Facebook or whatever. Yeah, or on Twitter or whatever your account is. Gravatar will just connect to those accounts and give them all the same avatar, basically.
Right.
I don't know if it's still around. I had that for my blog way back when.
Yeah, this I think once you guys see this, you'll see that it's considerably different than that.
Mm-hmm.
This is much more powerful. The ability to do a lookup when you enter, a string of digits, and then have a whole set of choices returned.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
All right. That's awesome, Corey. Great work.
Cool.
Yeah, that's very impressive. What are your thoughts, Austin?
When doing this lookup, you can just make it a generic sort of asynchronous callback, so you can hook into any generic database that will asynchronously return a value. Right. Gravatar was owned by GitHub, or the guys who did GitHub at least. and I think or until a few years ago, they sold it to WordPress.
Okay. Yeah. Probably why WordPress requires you to make a gravatar for your avatar. Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah, I think Gravatar sounds like it's along the same lines, but I think once we get this built out a little bit more, you'll see that the essence of this is considerably different and much more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys have any comments before we wrap it up for this evening?
I think that covers it, for me at least. Yeah. Shouldn't be too difficult. It's pretty simple, what you're looking for, I think. It shouldn't be too difficult to put together, at least on the front end. But yeah.
Well, tomorrow night, Austin will take over on the back end, or maybe both of you will take over on the back end. But why don't we focus on that, entering string of digits, and then a set of results are returned. And by the way, if you guys are interested, RFC 6116 lays out the standard specifications for what's called enum, electronic number mapping. Mm-hmm. And basically what we'll work on tomorrow night is something called NAPTers, which I think stands for naming address pointing record or something like that. So this is very cool. I'm excited. You guys did a great job. Any other comments before we close? We're good for 9:30 tomorrow night?
Yeah, tentatively. I might be a little bit late, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Well, let's plan on 9:30, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Very cool. Thanks, guys.
Yep, no problem. Thanks, Jay.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.